In this video, we'll show you how to replace the driver's side cooling fan on your Honda Pilot. This is located in the front of the vehicle, right behind the radiator. Let's get started. First, we're going to remove the shroud above the radiator. We can just pull up on this, release the clips. We'll set that off to the side. We can go ahead and remove our front air intake. We just have a couple of clips. I'm using a clip tool. If you have a flathead screwdriver, that'll work as well. We have two at the front and two at the back. We'll set that off to the side. We have a series of 10mm bolts all along the grill here. We're going to remove those. There's three 10mm bolts right in the middle of the grill here. We can leave those. We have two clips that we can remove, holding a bit of the wiring harness on. I'll just be using a trim fork. I certainly use a flathead screwdriver for this. We can remove the middle portion of the intake. We'll remove the three 10mm bolts at either end of our core support using a 10mm. I'll be using a swivel socket. We can do the same on the other side. And we have two more on the back side. We'll remove our two radiator brackets. These are 10mm bolts. We're going to remove the clips at either end of the core support on the wiring harness here. I'll be using a trim tool. You can certainly use a flathead screwdriver. I'll do the same on the other side. We have one more clip holding our hood latch cable on. Pop that up. Now we can take our core support, lift up, and rotate it backwards. Now we can go ahead and remove the plastic bracket between the core support and the bumper. We have two 10mm bolts on either side of our AC condenser holding it to the radiator. We'll go ahead and remove those. With the vehicle raised and supported, we're going to come onto the vehicle here. We have a series of 10mm bolts that we're going to remove. We have two Phillips head screws on either side of the engine splash shield. This is towards the back. We'll just remove those with a number 3 Phillips. We'll do the same on the other side. And we have 2 clips on either side of the splash shield. One in the middle and one towards the front. I'm using a clip tool, but you can certainly use a flathead screwdriver. And with that removed, we can remove our splash shield. We'll set this off to the side. Reaching inside the passenger side of the front bumper, we're going to find the drain plug. We're just going to twist that. We can do this by hand. Just keep twisting until you get a stream of coolant coming out, and we'll just let that drain. We can go ahead and close that off. Now moving back up top of the engine bay, we're going to come to the upper radiator hose and remove this clamp and the radiator hose. If your radiator hose is a little bit stuck on, you can use a rag and a large set of pliers. Be very careful doing this. Twist the end of the hose to get it to break free. Now we can slide this off. We'll just tuck this back out of the way. Now we have a couple of clips and electrical connectors on the fans here. I'll be using a trim tool to undo these clips. You can certainly use a flathead screwdriver. Pop those out. And we have a tab on the connector. It can help to push in on the connector while you push in on the tab and then pull out. And we can pull up on the other clip. And same as the other electrical connector, we'll press in on the tab. Can help to push in on the connector a little bit. Get those out of the way. We have 2 10mm bolts at the top of the cooling fan here. You can go ahead and remove those. And we can pull the fan out of the grommets at the bottom. To remove this gray connector, we're going to pull back on a tab towards the back of the vehicle. We can pull that out. And same as the connectors on the upper portion, you can just pull that off. Pull the rest of these wiring harness clips out to remove our fan. Pop it out of the grommets down bottom. And you want to be very cautious not to damage any of the radiator fins. Installing our fan is just the reverse order, being cautious not to damage any of the wiring or the fins of the radiator. And we can line up the grommets at the bottom of the fan and set that in. We can install our 2 10mm at the top of the fan. And we'll snug these down. You gotta be cautious when tightening these. We can reconnect our gray connector back to the driver's side fan and then run down the line and reconnect all the clips. We can install our engine splash shield. Get your center plastic clip started. And that'll hold your shield up while you get everything else in line. You can install each of the plastic clips on the front portion of the lip. And same on the other side. You can start installing the rest of our 10mm hardware. It's good to get a lot of this started in before you start tightening anything down. We have our two longer 10mm bolts that go on either side of the splash shield. Now we can install our two Phillips head bolts on either side of the splash shield. We can install our upper radiator hose. We're going to make sure that that's fully set down. It's good to have these constant tension clamps in the same position they were before. And you shouldn't have any leaks. We can go ahead and install our grill support. We'll get that lined up. We can install our core support. And we can start installing all of our core support hardware. We want to get this all started in, and then we can go around and tighten it down. Now we can go around the core support and snug down all of our 10mm bolts. I'll be using a 10mm swivel to get these front ones. We can reconnect this clip for the hood latch cable. Now we're going to run along the fans, plugging in our connectors and reconnecting the clips. You're going to make sure as you bring your electrical connectors back together that you audibly hear the click, feel it set down, and if you can't, make sure you can't pull it apart. Plug in our gray connector, plug in our passenger side connector. With all these, you want to hear the click. Make sure it's set all the way down and that it can't pull back out. On the driver's side, for the radiator mount, we need to slide it behind the hood latch cable and then slide the grommet onto the radiator. And we'll snug these down. We can install our passenger side radiator mount. You want to make sure that the wiring harness is on the outside of it. Get this all lined up. We can start installing our 10 mils along the grill. Same as before, we'll get all these started in and then tighten them all down together. Go through and snug all your bolts down. We can install our clips for our wiring harness. There's two on the grill up here. We have two on the back side of the core support. We can install our pieces of the air inlet. We can install our clips. We can install our shroud. Get it around the hood latch first. Get it lined up. Press down and get all the clips in. Fill up the radiator with your manufacturer specified coolant. Turn the engine on and let it run. Let it get up to operating temperature. Let the fans cycle on 2 to 3 times. Watch for air bubbles coming out of the system. Once there's no more air bubbles, you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.